tallest building in the state of Indiana, the Chase Tower, rising high above our location today at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Welcome aboard, everybody. This is Wednesday Night Basketball of the NBA on 2K Sports. Alongside Greg Anthony and Steve Smith with David Aldridge on the sideline, this is Kevin Harlan. Pacers looking to make the most out of their home court advantage here in Indianapolis. Steve, we have a great matchup in the middle right here tonight.
Nice
How fun is it going to see these two great centers go head-to-head?
That's old school when these two guys go at it banging. And you start talking about centers, you know, a lot of people look at points, but then you got to start looking at reboundings and who threw the first elbow and, you know, who's the enforcer and just set the tone for his team.
And the constant fighting for position underneath.
The stuff you don't see off the ball, they go at it.
It's bad in there, doesn't it?
Yes.
You didn't go in there much, did you?
I just looked and kind of marveled at it.
You just kind of marveled at it. So let's take a look at the Toronto Raptors starting lineup. Lowry and DeRozan, the core of this team at the guard spots. Jamari Carroll is out there with Jared Sullinger. And it's Valanciunas in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. The Raptors shooting their first foul shot of the night. And you always hear coaches say, make the simple play. That's one of the keys to the Raptors offense, Smitty, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, they don't play fast, so they don't have a lot of turnovers, but they're also at the bottom of the league in prior assists. What they do is they just try to attack to score on the offensive end.
Defensively, that possession better not start a trend because they just handed him 2 points.
They just talked that one up to a little miscommunication. I'm sure they'll get on the same page.
Now, here's DeRozan. 5 to shoot. Takes a 3. And Jamari Carroll, good for 3.
Hand in his face, but it didn't matter. Great score there from Carroll.
T kicks to Ellis. And it's Young at the elbow. And the rejection by Valanciunas. He muscles it in through the contact, and they call the foul. He's on his way to the free throw line. The Pacers shooting their first free throw of the evening. Al Jefferson no good on the free throw.
We know a lot about Dwayne Casey's coaching career. Been an assistant for numerous years. Now he's a head coach, but let's take it back. He was a top recruit coming out of high school. He helped lead Kentucky to a national title in 1978.
And it's the Pacers with the ball. The Raptors getting the bucket. T kicks to Ellis. Off the pick. And Valanciunas pulls it down.
Look, that's in his range, but he had a defender right up in his chest.
And it's out of bounds. The Raptors able to retain possession here. And Casey went straight from playing at Kentucky to an assistant coaching position there in Lexington.
He's been coaching for almost 4 decades. Coached in Japan for a time, a long-time NBA assistant. He's a lifer.
Now, here's Valanciunas, and there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. It's on Al Jefferson.
Love the aggression that Valanciunas showed there. He welcomed the contact inside to get to the line.
The Raptors have shot just 1 free throw earlier, 1 for 1 in the game.
And just to mention, a season ago, they were very comfortable at the line, hitting about 78% of their free throws.
No good on the free throw.
Valanciunas over the last few years has always been pretty good offensively, and also now on the defensive end, he's a guy that's not a liability. He has taken large strides to improve in that area.
And Indiana making a change here. Turner's checked in. Patrick Patterson, he's checked in for Toronto. Joseph comes in for Jamari Carroll. And the second free throw, good. Looking at Valanciunas and his defense, he seems to be a lot more decisive in his action, Steve. Seems like a small thing, but that means so much at his level.
Yeah, Jonas is not hesitant on the rotations and charging out to the perimeter. He's playing with more confidence on the defensive end. He'll be all right.
Patterson with it. Picked up by Turner. Here's Patterson. The dish to DeRozan. Off target from outside. The Pacers have gone 2 of 6 from the field. The drive by Ellis, 16 feet away, and once again off the mark by Indiana.
Not the best shot right there with a good defender draped all over you.
No, not at all. When you see him guarding you, just try to move the basketball on.
Indiana off to a slow start. 7-point differential. T kicks to Ellis. A floater, and he lays it up and in.
Beautiful looking teardrop. That's a shot that's almost impossible to block.
Toronto's gone 1 of 2 from long range in the first quarter. Now here's DeRozan. Patterson, the screen, jacks up a 3. The shot misses. And that does it for the first quarter. Raptors lead by 5. And we'll get the second quarter underway on the other side of this break. The first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And from what we've seen so far from the Raptors, guys, your thoughts?
I just don't know that you're going to see a better quarter defensively than what we saw in the first.
Yeah, they were in total lockdown mode there. Can they keep it up for their entire game? It remains to be seen.
When you talk about ball movement and player movement offensively without moving the ball, one of those underrated qualities, Smitty, which players do you think are the best in the league at cutting off the ball and moving that way?
You know, Jimmy Butler's very good. Klay Thompson is a guy that can move well without the basketball. Gary Harris from Michigan State, guys that can score without having it in their hands, which is a treat. You have J.J. Redick, who moves well without the basketball. Doesn't cut as much, but move without the basketball is one of the best.
You know, I always think of Jordan, and you played against Michael, of course. I always saw him as a guy that would pass when he did, but then he would cut him. He would immediately bang right off that player and set up someplace else. Some guys pass, they linger.
Yes.
And they're not, but Jordan, and he would explode after he would pass and try to take advantage of that movement.
You know, guy comes to mind, Kevin, Manu Ginobili. He's like he's passing it and running in the same motion.
And what a quality.
Yes.
Huh? So deceptive. And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor. All fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. So for Toronto right now, Ross and Patterson to the forwards. Corey Joseph is out there with Powell. And it's Pirtle in at the 5, roaming the paint. Raptors leading by 4. Well, for the Pacers last season, they trade Roy Hibbert to the Los Angeles Lakers. David West took far less money. Greg to leave town. You worried about their front court and that it would be in shambles?
Yeah, and instead, rookie Miles Turner showed himself to be a steal as a shot-blocking, perimeter shooting big. And it was a best-case scenario. If they could build on that, I think they have a chance to be one of the contenders in that Eastern Conference.
Here's Young. The Raptors getting the bucket. He kicks it to Miles. This one for 3. The rebound by Patterson. For Toronto, they've gone 2 of 3 from the field here to open the second quarter. Powell for 3. Gets it to go from beyond the arc.
Yeah, I love the communication and the chemistry between those teammates.
And Young kicks to Stucker. We're now about 2 minutes into the second quarter. Screen by Young. And here's Miles outside. Miles with another miss.
You know what, though? Sometimes you can be too open. I think it may have surprised him, and that's why he missed.
Pirtle's shot is off. Pacers trail by 9. And Miles kicks to Stucker. Here's Turner. It's good, and he drew contact on the shot, so he will go to the line. A three-point play chance here. So an entirely new group in now for Indiana. Allen's checked in for Young. Paul George comes in for C.J. Miles. Monte Ellis, he's checked in for Rodney Stuckey. And it's Teague in for Young. And an impressive rookie season for Miles Turner, Greg. A bit of a slow start after requiring thumb surgery, but once he got out on the floor, he gave signs that he can be the Pacers' pivot of the future.
A millennial big man.
Yes.
Really, he's got the shot blocking and the ability to shoot it deep. Those kinds of players are really rare. Big-time upside. They did very well for themselves with that number 11 pick.
Free throw, no good.
And one of the more aggressive teams in the league this past offseason, looking to adjust their roster, the Indiana Pacers. I mean, the trade for Jeff Teague, another for Thaddeus Young, the signing of Al Jefferson. It's going to be interesting to see how all these new players gel in Nate McMillan's system.
Jefferson's checked in for Miles Turner. That's off as well, so he misses both. And Jeff Teague of Atlanta, and now of Indiana, more of a playmaking point guard. That's something the Pacers have lacked for a long time, Gia.
Yeah, and he's a guy who looks to push the ball aggressively in transition. And that's something, as you mentioned, the Pacers have been trying to do. Thaddeus Young, another player who fits that mold. Jefferson, more of a half court, but I think he gives them a nice option there with that second unit.
Teague against Lowry. And it's Carroll in the corner. With one on the clock, Valanciunas, good.
Nice find there from Carroll to keep the ball moving for the score.
So we've reached the end of the first half of play. The Raptors out in front, leading by 6. And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Thanks very much. Jonas, you guys got off to a strong start. How important was it to set the tone early?
You know, we came out with a different energy. We said it's enough to struggle from the start. You know, we got to focus and play good starts.
That is where it all starts. Thanks for your time. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. And we'll be back after halftime as the third quarter gets underway.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Ernie Johnson here alongside Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Smith, all set to take a look. The first quarter for the Raptors was fairly even. At the end of one, they were able to end up with a 5-point lead. And taking a look at the Raptors, Kenny, what did you see out there?
Well, they showed a lot of discipline on offense, called some high percentage plays. Even when the defense devised different looks, they always seem to have the answer. That's good coaching.
Shaq, your take on Indiana.
What impressed me the most was the effort they put into the offensive glass. Second chance points really added up for them. Fighting through box outs, battling for position, they owned the offensive boards.
All right, that is going to wrap up our halftime report as it's just about time for the start of the third quarter.
And we return to Indianapolis, Indiana, with a look at all the activity taking place in this terrific downtown. And it's been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first half. Third quarter starting here now. And look at Al Jefferson. He's really been playing well.
Unbelievable the way he dominated that offensive glass in those first two quarters. Just a great effort for him for the entire half.
He bullied his way inside for a ton of rebounds, and until they get a body on him, he's just going to keep coming at him.
And Smitty, we have a question sent in by one of our viewers. This is from Quinn up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He asks, they were wondering, What do you like to do in the offseason to decompress from basketball, to get away from it?
You know, physically, I like to do a little yoga, like to swim, and I think something challenging. I love to play golf because that humbles me. I'm still not good at it, Kevin, but I keep going at it.
And you have fun doing it.
I do. I have a lot of fun. You know why? No scorecard. Not at all.
But once a competitor, always, right? You can't lose that edge.
No, not at all. So that's the one thing I like about it, is me versus the ball versus the hole, and they're winning right now.
Monte and George filling out the perimeter. Young is out there with Al Jefferson, and it's Teague in at the point guard position. That's the Pacers' 5. Now here's Jefferson, shoots off the screen. That one off the back iron and out.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
Here's Carroll. No good there. Good defensive work there by Young. Here's Ellis. Soft touch off the glass. Ellis has got the first points of the second half up on the board for Indiana. Toronto leading by 4. Well, Greg, Monte Ellis, one of the most dangerous and prolific slashers in the league.
Yeah, at just 6'3", he's still a terrific athlete and a dynamic finisher at that size. Ellis needs the ball, though, in his hands to be most effective because he can make things happen.
Now Young, following the miss by Kyle Lowry from deep. He had stolen by Valanciunas. Here's DeRozan. And again, Toronto no up.
And they start the second half with 3 straight misses.
Teague with a clean look. Off target from three-point range. The Raptors have gone 0 of 3 and are still looking for that first bucket here in the second half. Here's Carroll. Pacers with the rebound. And now here comes Teague leading the break. And we've got an update here, so let's catch up with David Aldridge.
Well, guys, all of us saw Paul George's compound fracture playing for Team USA. It was one of the most devastating on-court injuries we've seen. But he's back now, and he says it put everything in perspective. This game can be gone at any second. I've got to enjoy this ride, enjoy this journey. I'm much more happy. I just see things in a different light now. Evan?
Yep, great to have him back in action, DA. Thank you. Now, Lowry. Paul George missing from long range. Here's Carroll, and he makes good on the layup. And it's an 8-point Raptor lead.
Carroll can be so patient inside. Great timing on that play.
They've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a bit of a dry spell for sure.
Jefferson kicks to Ellis. To the middle, looking for George. He gets it there. That one good for 2.
It's impossible to stop him. You can only hope to contain him.
So an entirely new group in now for Indiana. Miles Turner, he's checked in for Jefferson. Allen comes in for Young. Rodney Stuckey's checked in for Monte Ellis. Young is subbed in for Teague. A touch over 2.5 minutes of basketball played here in the third quarter. To the inside, Pirtle. And the dunk by Pirtle.
It doesn't take much for Pirtle to throw it down. At 7 feet tall, all he has to do is be near the hoop.
And here's George. Allen, a screen on Ross. And here's George for 3. The shot, no good. And that's going to do it for the third quarter. Raptors lead by 7. And we're coming right back after this break to get the fourth quarter underway. Now let's take a listen on head coach Dwayne Casey.
But it's about defense down here. No second shot. Rebound, we go. All right? But make sure, make a miss, get back. Here we go.
On to make more plays, be fast end-to-end. Dwayne Casey injecting energy into his team.
Yeah, and when they're in attack mode, sometimes it can lead to turnovers, but it could also lead to a nice run here.
Well, welcome back as we get set to start the fourth. So for Toronto right now, Ross and Patterson to the forwards. Norman Powell is out there with Corey Joseph. And it's Pirtle in at the center, filling out the middle. Stuckey outside. Just 5 to shoot. Right side tee. That shot misses. Now Toronto takes it the other way. Powell for 3. But they recover it. Good work defensively by Turner. Pacers trail by 7. And Miles kicks to Stuckey. Uncovered and good. Got the friendly bounce off the right side of the rim. Stuckey's got the fourth quarter started here with a bucket for Indiana. And the Raptors call time here. Changes here for the Pacers. Thaddeus Young. He's checked in for Allen. And it's Ellison for Rodney Stuckey. And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Thanks, guys. I got a chance to hear Dwayne Casey talk to his team. He told them, put your foot on their neck. Take it to them. I want to see you guys slow it down out there, use the clock, and stay away from silly fouls. Let's see if they can execute the play, guys.
Now, here's Lowry. Sullinger passes to Kira. Outside DeRozan. Right through the cylinder that time. All net. And the Raptors lead by 7.
One of his strong points, DeMar DeRozan, is so dependable when he gets to the mid-range. He knocks those down often.
It's stolen by DeRozan. And oh, here we go. DeRozan. Oh.
And with that speed, once he took off, the D just had no chance of getting back.
Why waste all that energy? No one was going to catch him.
And that last replay courtesy of Pia. So it's the Pacers now after the Raptors pick up 2. Ellis outside. Passes it to Young. 4 on the shot clock. No good there with the step back J. Raptors leading by 9. Outside Lowry. Outside DeRozan. Shoots it. That's good from Lowry on the assist from DeRozan.
And we'll just watch the clock wind down, guys, in what will turn out to be a win here for the Raptors.
When you consider the difference in their field goal percentages, the other team has to be happy that this wasn't a bigger loss. This team was on fire.
Yeah, Kevin, it's always frustrating when you can't throw a rock on the ground and the other guys just can't seem to miss. And so many key players that you could point to tonight, but in particular, a great game for Carroll. Every time there was a big possession or a big play, he was a major contributor. Just a great all-around game.
Indiana again missing.
A shot he knows he needs to make when the defense sags off him. Still a little inconsistent from out there.
Lowry dishes to Carroll. And the pass to DeRozan. Sullinger the screen. Three-pointer. The Raptors rebound. Left side, DeRozan. And the call will be against Thaddeus Young. That's his first foul. And DeRozan kicks to Joseph. And so Toronto takes this one, but by a big margin. They came in here and took care of business like they were the home team.
And Kevin, how about the mental toughness that this group showed? They were never rattled at all by the opposing fans.
And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Greg Anthony, David Aldridge, Steve Smith, and the rest of our terrific 2K Sports crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Welcome back, friends and neighbors. Ernie Johnson along with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Smith as we move forward to Damari Carroll.
He was extremely selective tonight. It's hard to bait him into taking bad shots, which I really did like. He resisted the temptation, and he showed a lot of discipline. Shot over 50%, high 50s.
Listen, Ernie, I don't know if the opposing fans got him riled up or what, but he was out for blood tonight. Shaquille O'Neal, man, he had intensity at his all-time high. He looked like a different player than we're used to seeing.
And that's it for tonight, but we've got a whole new NBA season ahead of us. For Shaquille O'Neal, for Kenny the Jet Smith, for Kevin Harlan, wherever he might be, and the entire 2K Sports crew, I'm Ernie Johnson. We'll see you again very soon.